Today's episode is sponsored by Morgan Fitness. You can reach out to her on Instagram at morganmorganbonafide or at morganmorganfitness.com. For today's interview question, listen, pause, and answer for yourself. If you were to describe your year as a title holder with one hashtag, what would it be? Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of The Crowning Moment. My name is Casey Gibson and today we have another special guest and she's going to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm your current Miss Teen USA 2022, Faron Medhi.
Well, I'm so glad to have you on the podcast today, and this is one that when your manager replied to my email, I think I screamed out loud. Let's just go ahead and talk about you are the newly crowned Miss Teen USA. What does that feel like?
Yes, it's honestly so wild. It does not feel real. This is so crazy. Being Miss Nebraska was a dream come true for me, and that hadn't even sunken in barely. I think it just sunk in right before nationals that I was finally like, oh, I'm actually Miss Nebraska. This is crazy. But now that I'm Miss Teen USA, I think it's the whole year I'm just going to be living in a dream. Like, someone pinch me. This is surreal.
I love it. That is so awesome. Okay, so you are from Nebraska. What made you want to start competing in your state for the Teen USA title?
So I've been competing in pageants since I was 9 years old, and ever since my very first coaching session, I met with my coach. Her name was Robin, and she was with Springboard Girls at the time. And she told me, she was like, you have to do Miss Teen USA when you're older. And I was a little girl and I was like, what is that? I don't know what that means. And she kind of explained it to me and I was like, oh my goodness, this is awesome. It's basically Super Bowl. And Sam Washington, she was Miss Nebraska Teen USA. And a few years back, I'm not entirely sure what exact year, but I looked up to her so much when she held that title. And I knew that I wanted to be in that title that she had, because she had made such an impact on her year, especially on me. And she's just such a big mentor for me, and I wanted to be that for other little girls. And so she really inspired me, and I always knew that I wanted to be Miss Nebraska Teen USA. So I waited until my senior year of high school because I wanted to be old enough and mature enough to handle the title while also having enough time to go out in my community. And so I won Miss Nebraska in March of my senior year, my first time, and it was honestly so much fun, and I've just been able to be out in my community and impact others, and it's been my favorite thing on earth.
So with your time as Miss Nebraska Teen USA, of course I did my stalking on social media. You had a lot of presence in the classroom. When you went to the classroom and spoke with children, what were some of the things you talked about and some of the things that you read to them?
So I first started off with just asking them if they knew what confidence meant. We would talk about what confidence is, places we can use it, whether it's when we're learning reading, math, different things like that. We would talk about what affirmations are. None of them knew what those were, but I was able to teach them about the power of affirmations just because that's my favorite thing to boost my own self-confidence. And so I wanted to help instill that into them. And so every single time we would go over those, and then I would read my personal book, which is I Am ABCs. It's a little affirmation book I wrote, and I would say them, and then we would all recite them together. So it was so much fun. We would always be saying the affirmations together, and I loved the look on their faces when they would say the affirmations. It made my heart so warm. And I would also read my favorite book as a child. It's called I Like Myself by Karen Beaumont, I believe. And I had it memorized since I was 2 years old, like every single page. It was my favorite thing in the world. Definitely helped with my self-confidence growing up. And so just being able to read those two books to them. And then I also, had time for questions and all the fun things with the kids. They would ask me the cutest little things like, do you live in a castle? And I love kids so much. I'm a dance teacher as well. So I've worked with kids since I was, a kid myself. So it's just been so much fun. I love going into classrooms and teaching them.
One of my favorite Instagrams that you posted was all of you guys together saying those affirmations, and they were like screaming it. They were so excited, and I thought that was such a special moment to have with the kids. So you went into classrooms and you talked about your affirmations. So tell the listeners a little bit about, I guess, what your platform is, if it coincides with the words of affirmation.
Yeah, so my platform is truly all just about self-worth and confidence. I genuinely believe if we invest in ourselves, we see the payoff in our mental health and how we treat other people. And if everyone just spent a lot of time on themselves, pouring into themselves, I truly believe our world would be different and it would be so much better. And so that's exactly what I'm very passionate about, because personally, I struggled a lot in middle school, seeing my own worth, feeling confident, comparison to other girls. Social media had a really negative impact on me growing up. And so as Miss Nebraska Teen USA, I made it my mission to not only try and instill those values into our youth, but also on social media to post that I'm a genuine, real girl, that I'm relatable, that I'm not just like over glorified or this like, crazy perfect life, because I don't have a perfect life and I'm not perfect by any means. And as Miss Teen USA, I want to continue to do that and show our younger generation that you don't have to be perfect, that it's okay, but you just need to accept yourself and love yourself for who you are and meet yourself halfway, give yourself grace periods, and that you're beautiful regardless. And that's what I'm really passionate about. And that's why I'm so excited to have this title, because it's such a big platform and I have the opportunity to impact so many.
You truly do, especially being the teen. This is such I say like a pivotal moment in pageant careers and in your life right now. What you're doing now can affect what you do, in 10 years from now. And so with that, what would you say to girls that are maybe your age or a little bit younger that are deciding to compete in pageants or maybe looking into it? What is, the first little push you would give them to try it out?
Well, I would say don't let fear hold you back. Because I know a lot of girls, their fear of rejection or fear of not winning. But the thing that's so beautiful about pageantry is when you compete, you already learn so much about yourself, because you pour so much work into going into a pageant, that before you go into that pageant, you truly know who you are, because you've done so much self reflection, so much preparation mentally for this, and you also feel good physically and you feel confident and elegant. And I think that that's the most important thing that you can take away from pageantry, not to mention the friends, because oh my goodness, have I met my best friends through pageants. Like, it is the best. I would just encourage any young girl to get over that fear and just dive in head first, because it's not about taking the crown away. You're already a winner as soon as you step on the stage. It's about growing and becoming the best version of yourself, and also meeting new friends and new girls and making those connections with people, because just competing, you make connections with so many people and it really just elevates your life and it just pushes you forwards. Like, seriously, I can only say positive things about competing in a pageant. I've competed in national pageants and not placed in the top 15 before. It's just really about how you look at it and your mentality going into it. And if it's your moment, then it's your moment. If it's not, then it's not. And you have to be happy for that girl. But what's meant for you, I truly believe it won't pass you by. And if the crown is yours, you will, have that title and hold it.
Let's talk about the days leading up to your crowning moment. And let's talk about a lot of things that people may not know that happened at Teen USA or see what is actually happening. So, if you want to give the listeners a little glimpse into what it was like from your point of view, going from registration to literally getting the crown put on your head, what was that experience in those days like for you leading up to that crowning moment?
Honestly, Nationals Week was so much fun. I was definitely tired, but it's all about pushing through the exhaustion, because it's like so exciting. There's so much energy, so much adrenaline during the week. You're talking to all these girls. I was able to talk to every single girl, which I thought was really special. I did wish we kind of had a little bit more time to talk to each other, but honestly, like, I got to connect with so many girls, and my roommate and I were like best friends. Like, when I say we are crazy together, like, I don't know what God was thinking putting us in a room together. We would stay up till like 1, 2 in the morning just talking, like going crazy in our room. I love that girl to death. We just had so much fun because we did axe throwing. We had these little sensory rooms that we did. We had different experiences. Rehearsals were really fun because we got to bond during rehearsals as well and while learning. And so, I don't know, it's just finding moments in the National Week where you get to connect with the different girls, and then also having lots of fun, making content. It's just like so crazy because there's so much happening, but totally worth it. The payoff is amazing.
It is. And I want to talk a little bit more about what people don't see, which is that interview. Do you have a favorite question or even a favorite judge from your interview that really stuck out to you the most?
So I don't have a favorite judge because all of them were so sweet. I really loved them all. As for questions, I got asked about my cats, my sweet little kitty, Cheeto's little fat orange cat. I took him to college with me. I have 6 cats, so I'm a crazy cat lady. I know. I only have 1 in college, which I'm sad about, but I have 5 at home in Omaha. So that's like my favorite thing. I love talking about that. I got to tell them about my affirmations and my passions, especially for children. I'm aspiring to be a pediatrician. I got to tell them about that. And we also talked a little bit of politics. We talked about education and student loans and college education and things like that, which also are very important to me. And I think that that was really cool in the interview room. I mean, I walked out and I was like, oh my gosh, I bombed that. I honestly thought I did bad on my interview, but I think I blacked out because I watched it 2 days ago and I was like, hey, that wasn't that bad. But I was just being real genuine the whole time, just trying to make sure my heart came across to the judges and just hopefully relaying that, I just am really grateful to be there and wanting the title of Miss Teen USA so I can go and impact my community.
Going into pageant week, was there any girls that you were afraid of competing against, or were you just more excited to be there?
This is a great question. I think it's so important because when you go to a national pageant, it can be really scary because a lot of people post their opinions and it can be tough, especially to look at. Like the morning that I woke up for finals, I think someone posted an opinion on like who was going to be Miss Teen USA, and I looked at it. I was not on the list. It was like a list of like 20 girls, and I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm not on this. Like, but at the end of the day, it's a great lesson to learn because walking in, you have to learn, like, focus on yourself. What this girl is doing, like, she's amazing, she's worthy, she's beautiful, but that doesn't define you at all. It doesn't make you less worthy, less beautiful, less amazing. And so you have to just focus on yourself and know I am worthy in my own skin. She is worthy in her own skin. It's just whether God has chosen this to be our moment or not. Whether the judges can see that this is our moment or not. It's really just about having that mentality of this is either made for me or it's not, and you have to be okay with it either way. And we already all won our states, and that's already such an accomplishment in itself. And I think going into that, a lot of us had forgotten about how amazing that was, that we already are representing our states. And so reminding each other of that, we already won our states, you guys. This is a national pageant. We're here. So many girls want to be on this stage. We are here. This is amazing. And it can be really hard sometimes with all the people speaking their opinions in and comparing yourself. But really, it's just about having this mindset of like taking a big, deep breath and knowing that you are enough in yourself without having to look at the other people and knowing that they're beautiful and worthy on their own. We're beautiful and worthy on our own. We're all here for a reason.
Good. Well, I'm glad I asked that question because that's one of those where it's like, do you ask if they were nervous or not?
Yes, no, it's tough. It really is tough. And like I struggled sometimes with being like, oh, maybe her outfit's better here, or her hair looks better. But that's just all it's so, I mean, I don't know how, I can't even like put it into words. It's like it's so easy to do this because you're human. Of course we're all gonna compare ourselves, but at the end of the day, you have to get over the hump of comparison and know that you just have to assure yourself. Like the amount of affirmations that I used during my competition week, insane. And I also would journal a lot. So I'm a big journaler. I would write down my feelings. If something was negative, I'll write it down, I'll tear it out, and I'll rip it up and throw it in the trash. So then I know like that's a trash thought. That's no longer for my brain anymore. Because we all have negative emotions, we all have negative feelings. It's super normal. It's not something to be ashamed of. And every single girl there, I'm sure, felt some like shred of, oh my goodness, like I'm not worthy of this, something like that. But it's really just about getting over that and knowing that you are here for a reason. And it's just telling yourself that and knowing that the judges at your state pageant chose you for a reason.
Did you kind of realize like, oh my goodness, I just won, or this really made me win, or did you not know? I mean, everybody has seen the iconic crowning moment where you're pointing at yourself of like, wait, that's my name. Wait, they're calling me. Like, did you know at all?
I had no idea. Girl, I woke up that morning and I was like, listen, getting in the top 16 would be a dream come true. That was my goal. But I thought I wasn't because I thought I did bad on my interview. So I was like, it's okay. Like, it's really, my life is going to go on regardless of what happens. This would be a once in a lifetime opportunity, but I know that the crown does not define who I am. And just knowing that going into finals, I think really helped me because I did not think I was going to make the top 16. I was so proud of my friends who had made it, but like already. And then when they called me, I was like, "What the heck? This is crazy!" It was actually super funny because Jenna, who's Miss Idaho, my first runner-up, and I were talking backstage when we made it in the top 16. And we were like, "This is just so wild! I like cannot believe we're here," because neither of us thought we were going to make it in the top 16. So we were both like, how is this even real right now? And then somehow we both made it. I mean, we made it in the top five. I got called last. I genuinely, when they were calling top five, I was like, I am not going to make it, but I am happy to be here, like up on stage. And then there's, let's say, said my name, and I was like, what? And then that was already crazy. And then top two, I was just, I don't know. I think I blacked out because it was insane. I could not believe I was standing in the top two at Miss Teen USA, hand in hand with Sweet Jenna, and they called Idaho, and I was like, oh, she won! Like, my girl won! And then, no, it was me. And I was like, hold the phone, what? It was me? And I was like, this is crazy. I can't. And then you can, like, see me when I'm walking the bubble. I'm like, is this real life? Is this real life? Because it did not feel real. And then all the girls, like, came up, hugged me, screaming everywhere around me. My eardrums were like dead. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. This is so amazing. This is so cool. And the support that I felt from my girls in that moment was unreal.
Yes, I can only imagine when they did the rush. That was one of the videos I did, like the clip of all of them rushing you. And in that, I also had, like the previous Miss USA is getting rushed. Like it is, I feel like that is the moment when you're like, okay, this is kind of real now. Like, and everybody cares, and they all just want to love on you because they're so excited for you. And like you said, you won your state pageants. You're all there for a reason. Like, no matter what, like, you are the best person from your state. You made it. Whether you win Miss Teen USA or not, you're right. It does not define you. But in this moment, you're the girl who got picked. You're it. You're the one. You're the new Miss Teen USA for a year. In your mind, what is your goal for this next year for yourself? Like, is it going to be self growth? Is it going to be, working on community service? Or what are you looking forward to, I guess, the most?
I mean, all of the above. I'm excited to see how much I grow. I actually watched a video of me as Miss Omaha Team USA talking, and I was like, wow, have I come a long way already? This is crazy, the amount of growth that I've already made personally. But honestly, I'm just excited to get out in my community. I think with this title, it's such a big thing, and I have a really big opportunity to impact people. And so that's exactly what I want to do. I want to hit the ground running with my year. As soon as I get my book, I'm going to be going to elementary schools. I hope to do an appearance in different states as well while I go visit other states for state pageants. I hope to set up appearances while I'm there. I just want to be out involved in my community because that's what a true title holder does, especially someone who holds the title of Miss USA, Miss Teen USA. I think we need to be out in our communities and caring about other people because that's what this title is for. I feel like it's made for you going out and impacting other people. The only reason why I'm given this is so I can help others.
I agree with that 110%. And for this year, I know the Miss USA, Miss Teen USA hashtag is hashtag pageantry reimagined. But if you could change the hashtag, what would your hashtag be for the next year?
Well, that's a tough question. I like the idea of hashtag pageantry reimagined because to me, what it means is you're taking the stereotypes around it and breaking it down. You're breaking down that pageant women are just there to look pretty. You're showing that pageant women have depth, they have intelligence, they care about other people, they're leading for change in their community. And that's exactly what I hope to be doing as Miss Teen USA. I want to break all the barriers that people have about pageant women, showing that truly, like every single girl I met during my pageant week, all of them care about something different and are leading in their communities. They're going out and chasing after change. I think that's so cool and important to show that pageant women are doing that. And I think it's good to break those stereotypes because a lot of people look at pageant women and don't see all of it. But I totally want to show people like this is truly what pageantry is.
I like that. I like that a lot. That is such a very true statement too, because people, like you said, they just look at you and you're like, oh, it's a pretty girl, like congrats. But we are women in STEM. We're wanting to be doctors and lawyers and teachers and being, public figures. Like these women are doing things out here. And that's the thing that I don't think people realize. It's happening, but they're not actually taking note of it. So I really hope that this year you can definitely get that message out there and push more and push hard. But with that message getting out there for, social medias, which social media are you going to try to emphasize on the most? Because, that is the one way that people sometimes normally now only get their news and only see what's really going on. So what do you think is going to be your favorite social media to use this year for that?
I'm a big Instagram gal. I love Instagram. I'm not as good as Brianna as making reels. I don't know why. I'm just not as creative. I'm like, girl, you're awesome, but I don't know if I can do that because I look at TikToks, but I don't make them because I'm a dancer, so I'll make the dancing ones. But I'm just not good at being creative in that way. So Instagram is seriously where I want to hit hard because I genuinely believe that's the platform where I have a lot of people looking at me. And then also I can post things that are super real. And I'm not scared of posting anything on Instagram. I'll post, I had a bad day today and I'll just be honest. And I think that that's super cool because I can also reach a lot of people there. And it's a platform where people post their most perfect lives and perfect everything. And I want to break that. I want to show, first of all, I'm not perfect and I'm going to show you on Instagram because that's the platform where everyone wants to put their highlight reel, but I don't want to do that. I want to make sure people look at it and know I'm a real relatable girl.
Okay, this one's like an oddball side question. Before we got started, you and I talked about your crown, but if they gave you the opportunity for next year to redesign and do your own crown, what do you think that like key things you would add, whether it was a certain stone color or a star? Like, what is something that you would like to add, like a finishing touch to it?
Oh my goodness. I honestly don't know if I can answer that because it's just like, I love this thing. I think it's so beautiful and it's like the colors are so USA to me. I don't know. I honestly don't think I would change it because I'm in love with my crown. I love it so much. Every time I put it on, I'm like, okay, this thing is gorgeous. And I just am obsessed with it. I don't think I could change it because I'm just in love with it.
We're going to do some oddball questions here. Okay, so just a get to know you. All right. Would you prefer your hair naturally curly or straight?
Naturally curly all the way. She's a little fried right now because I put a lot of heat on her, but I love my curly hair. As annoying as it sometimes can be, I love that it just is me. It's bubbly, it's fun, it's crazy, sometimes unmanageable, but I love it because it's so much fun and it's easier because straightening my hair takes a long time and then I can't go in the pool and I can't do crazy stuff that I want. If I sweat too much, then it gets all wavy again. It's just I don't know. It's too much work to keep it straight, and it's a lot of work to keep it curly. But it's just nicer to keep it curly.
Would you rather be inside all day or outside doing some activity?
Ooh, so I'm a homebody. I love being at home, especially with my cats. But the sun is my favorite thing on earth, and that's why I moved to Phoenix because Nebraska is cold. So I'm here, and I go to the pool every single day. I have a pool behind my apartment dorm, which is literally the best thing on earth. I am there all the time. So I would say, being with my people, sitting in my room for half the day, and then the rest of the day, I'll go out to the pool, maybe do something outside. No, I wouldn't say play sports. I'm not very athletic, but I can maybe try throwing a ball around.
I love it. It's the thought that you would at least try.
Exactly. I'll try, but can't promise that I won't get hit in the face.
I love it. So you mentioned you have a bunch of cats, and you already mentioned that you have one with you at college. What are your cats' names and kind of like their little story of how you got them?
So this is the coolest thing ever because my grandma has a farm. She lives on a farm. She's 82 years old, lives there alone, like literally superwoman, does her chores every single day. Never met a woman like her. Like the resilience on this woman. She had the double bypass heart surgery. Like she had a heart attack twice. When I say my grandma is the strongest woman I know. But basically she has a lot of cats on her farm. They're like these bougie little Siamese cats and naturally bred. I don't know how on earth she got naturally bred Siamese cats, but there's so many on her farm and we foster them out. So I have fostered out like over 20 cats to different people, but I have foster failures and that's why I have so many cats because we just fell in love with some of them. So I have Stewie. He's the oldest cat. He was from my grandma's farm. he was really like matted up when she brought him, you know, had all the diseases and everything, but we saved his life. He's old now and so cute. And then I have Cheeto. He's the only one that's not from my grandma's farm. He's my cat. So fat and sassy. Got him from PetSmart. Just love him so much. Like, I just knew when I saw him that he was meant to be mine. I have Moose. He's a black cat. He was from my grandma's farm as well. Just fell in love with him when she brought him down. Could not let him go. Begged my dad to keep him. Then we kept him. Now he's my dad's cat. And then I have two little white flame point Siamese, Binks and Prim. They came at the same time. Fell in love with them as well. Could not let them go. Somehow convinced my dad. And then our last one, Poppy, she's like a normal, like little brown nose Siamese. So naughty, ornery, super smart, crazy. My dad is obsessed with her. I didn't even have to ask. He was like, we're keeping this one. Which is crazy because my dad says he's not a cat person. He's like, no, I like dogs. I'm not a cat person. Like Mr. Tough Guy, but actually loves them so much. Like literally, we call it our zoo. And he sends pictures every day, all day.
I love that. That is so funny. That's what when you mentioned that, I was like, I have got to ask about all of her cats. I have an aunt who has no children. I am basically her child. And she has a cat, Bella, because she loves Twilight. So she named her Bella. And it's a cute little gray cat. And she'll let this cat go out and it'll like roam around the backyard and it'll come back because it knows who feeds it.
Yes. They're so smart.
Seriously, they are, and that's what one of the times her collar, she has like a tracker on her, it had fallen off. The cat picked it up and brought it back to my aunt, like brought it back. Because I mean, like this tracking device is like in a very expensive collar, and the cat just carried it back to my aunt and was basically like, "Hey, it fell off." Like,
Oh my gosh, he's like, yeah, I mean, I'll carry it around for you. Like, you're welcome.
exactly. Yeah, it was honestly, we were just like, okay, this cat is way too smart for its own good. I would like for you to share your social medias and so people can keep in touch with you, or if someone would like to contact you on, how to get you to come to an event for them, what is the best way to do that as well?
So my social media, my Instagram is at missteenusa, or my personal is at Faron Medhi, and that's FARONMEDHI. If you want to contact me for booking an appearance, it would be best to go through my manager. I'll drop her email. Her email is dbergeron at missteenusa.com. That one more time, dbergeron at missteenusa.com.
Hopefully a year from now when you have, done your entire year of being Miss Teen USA, I would love to catch up again and us talk about what you did as Miss Teen USA and what your next steps are. But before we get to that, we are at the last question of the podcast. In what way has pageants positively impacted you?
Well, pageants have changed the entire course of my life. Now that I'm Miss Teen USA, I know my life has changed forever. Without pageants, I would nowhere be the woman I wouldn't even be close to the woman I am today. They have taught me confidence, grace, elegance, how to articulate my thoughts, how to care for other people on a bigger platform than just being a Faron Medhi, but to use a platform and really go in my community and impact other people. And the opportunities that pageants have given me, whether it's interview skills or meeting other people, new friends, endless, endless, endless. And I would just encourage anyone who's listening or any girl to seriously give it a shot. Just one shot and you will fall in love with it because it's so easy to fall in love with. And the pageant world is small, but it is mighty, and the women are so strong, and the connections you make are priceless.
I love that, and I absolutely agree. Once you get that pageant bug, you're going to want to keep coming back and back and back.
Exactly. You can't, once you start, you can't stop. You cannot stop.
Truly, truly you can't. But I'm so glad that we got to chat today, Farron. I'm just so glad that the listeners can get a glimpse into who the new Miss Teen USA is. And I know the iconic "Is it me" pointing during the crowning moment will forever be one of those moments that go down in Teen USA history of, yes, it is her. She is the queen.
Thank you. You're so sweet. I'm so glad I was able to talk with you.
Absolutely. And guys, you never know what happens in the future. So I guess you'll have to check out next week on another episode of The Crowning Moment. Bye, guys.